if you're supporting someone in your life, or you're connected to someone in your life who is facing mental health challenges, and like I said over the past 2 days, that can be everything from acute anxiety which happens maybe regularly but isn't always present. It may be suffering from depression. It may also not just be a mental health challenge related to depression, anxiety, loneliness. It may also be a mental illness, right? It could be someone that has Alzheimer's or bipolar. So let's just cover it saying that if there's someone in your life or someone that you are connected to, or that you feel like you're a support to, who suffers from a mental or emotional challenge, whether it's a mental illness, a challenge with mental health, naturally what can happen is we can give everything into that experience. Obviously the time and energy we have to give to support. It takes incredible amounts of patience and kindness and compassion. But what can often happen is that experience can, I suppose, become all-consuming for everyone involved. And I wanted to talk to that today because quite often when we talk about mental health awareness, we're focusing on the challenges that we may face on an individual level. But I also want to bring awareness to the collective experience, to how it impacts those around the individual that may be suffering, and how that suffering can also be experienced on an emotional and mental level from those who are supporting. And, I think that one of the things that mental health challenges, I suppose, brings right into the experience is that this sense of separation can occur. This sense of withdrawal from the person who may be struggling and suffering inside, and the sense of frustration from the person who may be supporting. And quite often that person who is supporting and giving and helping the other person can feel frustrated at points. It's natural. But quite often that frustration can lead to guilt or shame. Quite often you question how much you should be trying to help versus how much you should be holding space. And certainly this is my own experience from living with family, with family members who've had depression and extreme depression, and living with and supporting clients who've struggled with mental health challenges. So I think some of the context that we've shared over the last 2 days also applies to the individuals who are supporting someone. I.e., do you seek help? Is there someone that you can turn to talk to? Stuart and I have just been sharing that we phone one another whenever we're feeling challenged with life. But quite often the carer, the support, the person who's living with an individual who's suffering from mental health very rarely has someone in their life that they can turn to. Quite often, because we're so concentrated and focused on helping and supporting another individual, we often forget to bring awareness to our own mental and emotional health. We often forget to take time and space out of that experience to recharge, renew, reconnect, to remind ourselves that that experience that we're in doesn't have to define who we are and how we are. And so I think this is a really important conversation to have as we talk about mental health and bring awareness to this experience of mental health and mental health challenges, is that if you are in life supporting someone, and for most of us we are, right? Most people sadly on this planet now face mental health challenges. And yet we often in those experiences get all consumed by trying to help another, that we often forget to check in with ourselves, to bring awareness to our own experience, to say, do I need time out? Do I need to recharge? Do I need to sleep? Do I need to do something that nourishes my soul, lifts up my spirit? And so this is the message today, is that if you are someone who is supporting a family member, a friend, someone in that you have a connection to through challenges, and we're talking about obviously mental health challenges this week, but really any challenge, mental illnesses, emotional challenges, or you're supporting someone who's going through a difficult period, say someone who's grieving, know that the awareness of your own experience is also key throughout that. You know, the saying, you cannot pour from an empty cup, right? You can only pour from a full cup. Well, if we're continuing to try and support someone and our reserves are empty, then guess what? Frustration, anger, dissatisfaction, resentment may show up. You know, and then, like I said, they're often followed by shame or guilt, or, you know, questioning our own, you know, kindness. But in reality, we just sometimes need to recharge, reconnect to the truth of our nature. And like I've been talking about over this week, you know, when we give ourselves space and time, we can remember that we are kind, that we are compassionate, that we are loving. And when we give ourselves that space and time to recharge and reconnect, and when we seek support from other people, we then have a greater amount of reserves to go back and hold space and listen and be able to connect with the individuals in our life that require our support from a place of compassion and kindness.